What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Auto 101. Welcome back to another review. It's a quick, short review today, and we're reviewing this car right behind me, a 2024 BMW 228i. So let me flip the camera and we'll get into the review. BMW 228i is the absolute entry-level model into BMW's lineup in the US. It was introduced about 4 years ago, back in 2020, and the model that I guess it unofficially replaced was the 320i 3 Series. So the BMW 228i here is actually based on a front-wheel drive BMW architecture called the UKL. It was primarily developed for use for mini cars and smaller BMW models like what we see right here. So in roughly size and packaging and interior space, interior dimension, exterior dimension, this car competes with a mainstream compact sedan. So something like a Corolla or a Civic or a Mazda 3 sedan. But obviously it's a BMW, so it's more luxurious and it's more contemporary. Equivalent rivals would be the Mercedes-Benz A-Class sedan, Mercedes-Benz CLA, and also the Audi A3. Now there's many people who don't consider this to be a real BMW because it's based on a front-wheel drive platform. I don't really think that that's the case because it still has a very sporty driving demeanor and driving dynamics experience, but it's definitely not what one would assume from a traditional BMW. Now in the US and in many parts of the world, actually, there's two models of BMW 2 Series. There's this one that I just gave you a brief overview of right now, which is front-wheel drive based, and there's also the 2 Series Coupe, which is based on the CLAR platform shared with the 3 Series, the 5 Series, X3, X5, basically every other BMW in the range. Other cars built on this platform include the X1 and the X2, the 2 Series Active Tourer, and in Europe, the 1 Series hatchback, which with this car shares a lot of its styling and its packaging from an interior and exterior perspective. In fact, everything aft of the A-pillar is basically the same as that 1 Series hatchback, and the interior is the same as well. Now, we've been walking around the exterior here for a little bit, and I happen to think it's a fairly good-looking car. BMW has done a good job of transferring the styling from the bigger cars onto a smaller, more compact front-wheel drive package, and it still carries a lot of the hallmark BMW design traits, but presented slightly differently. I really love this little vent feature here. I like the way that the car sits overall. I think it has a very nice stance, but I can't help but think that it kind of looks a little bit squished or a little bit stubby, and I think that's because they've had to modify the way the language fits onto a front-wheel drive based platform. That being said, still a good looking car, but in my opinion, not the best in the BMW range, and that's saying a lot because this is still fairly conservatively solid compared with some of the newer BMWs, but it just doesn't have the same design charm as a larger BMW despite wearing the styling pretty well. And let's start by talking about the display situation going on in front of us. This is BMW's, maybe it could be considered their last generation of interior styling, where the dashboard and the infotainment were still two separate screens. They've now moved to kind of that one unified screen that a lot of other car makers have. I actually prefer this look. Firstly, it looks more unique. It's more authentic to the BMW heritage. And also, I like a little bit of separation between my infotainment and the dashboard. Both of them are fully digital, high resolution displays. You can see the graphic quality on this iDrive infotainment display here in the middle. I love it. I also love the digital dashboard. There's not too much customization. If you change the modes, there's a little bit of customization. You can see I just switched from Sport, Comfort, and Eco Pro. Really nothing changes. This goes from attack to MPG display when you go to Eco Pro, and a slight little font changes, but you can't really customize too much with this dashboard. That's okay with me. I like the fact that you can see the map in the middle and the rest of the display is easy to read and very crisp. So I think it's a good overall display. I also think the quality of the interior is quite high for the class that this competes in. I definitely think the quality here is much better than the CLA and the A3. Where I think this interior kind of falls a little bit flat is in its styling, because it definitely feels a little bit dated in here. It's very chunky, and also I don't know. The A3 interiors and the CLA interiors are so stunning for this class that this kind of feels much more like an economy car from the way that it's designed, even though the material quality is very high, the display quality is very high. There's certain things that make it feel like an older design compared to things like the CLA and the A3. So I think that's where it falls flat. Also, the space efficiency can be improved a little bit. I mean, this like I said, this is the same size of something like a Civic or a Corolla from its wheelbase and packaging, but it feels significantly tighter in here despite it being that size. So let's quickly take a look at what's going on in the back here. Again, I have stuff in there, but you can see it's not the best. I mean, I'm 5'9", and there's really not much leg room or shoulder room left in the back. And likewise in the trunk here, it's filled with stuff. And I like the way that they've designed the trunk to put stuff in there, but it really is not that big of a trunk. So even though they've had a good amount of space here, they maybe could have done a bit better of a job with space efficiency. And I know they could do it because the X1, the new X1, is an extremely spacious car. So that being said, what is my conclusion on the BMW 2 Series? Well, I think, you know, the area where this car really shines is if you're getting it used. A good example of this car used, maybe about 3 years old, is easily in the mid 20s from a price perspective for a car with relatively low miles. And for that, you're getting a BMW that still is under CPO warranty, likely off lease, for a price that is no different than something like a Civic or a Corolla, but you get a driving experience that's significantly better, a brand that has significantly more, I don't know, maybe provenance, maybe that's not the right word, but you know, there's definitely more prestige associated with the BMW brand to some people. And also, the material quality that is present with this car is significantly higher than those other mainstream compact car options. The other options for this are, like I said, things like the Mercedes-Benz CLA, Mercedes-Benz A-Class, also Audi A3, maybe Acura Integra. All of those are valid competitors to this car, but on a used market price point, this really does seem like the best value. So even though this is a review of the 2024 model, if you're in the market for a 2 Series, I highly suggest looking for a used 2 Series. And if you're in the market for a brand new Civic or a brand new Corolla, with the way new car MSRPs are going right now, a CPO version of this is really not that bad when all things are considered. Also, all versions of this car in the US come with the B48 power plant, which is the inline 4-cylinder, and it's been proven to be pretty reliable. It's in a whole bunch of cars. This also has an Aisin 8-speed transmission, which is a Toyota transmission. So really not a bad package in terms of what it offers. Maybe you're starting to feel a little bit dated, maybe a little bit cramped inside, but still worth considering. I'd love to hear what you think of the 2 Series in the comments below. It hasn't really been a very big success for BMW, not the most popular BMW by any means, but I still think it's a bit of a hidden gem on the used car market. So thank you for watching this review. I know this was a bit rushed. Hope you still found some value in it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I will catch you next time. Thank you.